This is Oklahoma Inside Out, a weekly broadcast of Cimarron Alliance that focuses on the issues, culture, and people important to LGBT Oklahomans. And now, here's your host for Oklahoma Inside Out, Scott J. Hamilton.
Hi, and welcome to this edition of Oklahoma Inside Out. I'm always happy that you're here with us, and especially so today, because today we mark a milestone in this broadcast. This is the 100th episode of Oklahoma Inside Out. That means we've talked to a lot of people about a lot of things, focusing on issues that we believe and you confirm are important to LGBT Oklahomans and to our allies. And today's show is certainly no different. We're speaking with a family today, and I think you're going to want to hear what they have to say about their experiences right here in Oklahoma City. Before we visit with them, though, I want to say a very special word of thanks to our legal correspondent, Jeff Riles, who was our guest on this broadcast last week, explaining what DOMA means to LGBT Oklahomans. And I want to invite you to take a listen to that broadcast anytime from our website. Great show for you, and we'll be back right after this quick word.
This edition of Oklahoma Inside Out is made possible through the generosity of friends and supporters like you. To support this program and the advancement of equal rights for LGBT Oklahomans, please consider making a generous gift today at CimarronAlliance.org.
Welcome once again to Oklahoma Inside Out. I mentioned at the top of the show that we're interviewing a family today, and there's a reason for that. I first met them in a PFLAG meeting, and I want to say a word about PFLAG. For a while, there was no PFLAG chapter in Oklahoma City. Thanks to the incredible encouragement of our friends at PFLAG Norman, there is now a very active, very positive group of PFLAG here in Oklahoma City. It meets the second Tuesday of every month at Church of the Open Arms, 31st and North Penn. And everyone, truly everyone, is welcome to these meetings at 7 o'clock the second Tuesday of each month. But that brings us to our guest today. We are visiting with the Jaksons family, and I'm interested for you to hear their story. I should introduce all of them first. We're talking with Don, Oliver, and Tristan Jaksons. And Tristan, I'm going to start with you because, first of all, how old are you now?
I'm 17.
And how old were you when you came out to your parents?
15 or 15.
And tell me how that came about for you.
I don't know. I just was going to bed one night and I just knew it was the time, so I sent an email and then accidentally sent it because I was just writing it out, but it happened a little sooner than I thought it would.
So you sent an email to your parents in the same house where you were,
yeah.
And you did it by accident.
I did. I was supposed to save it as a draft, but it went on its way.
And after you realized that you would hit the send button, did you panic?
Yeah, I went to bed early and didn't wake up till probably way later than I should have, but yeah.
And what happened next?
They just came and talked to me, and they let me know it was okay and that everything was going to be fine.
Now, I wanted to ask you all here, who do you send an email to your mom or your dad?
My mom.
Okay, so Don, you're doing whatever you're doing around the house, and you happen to check your email, and it's like big news right there for you. What was your first thought?
I don't even remember. I was just kind of in shock.
Shock is a word that we often hear parents, even parents who have a pretty good idea that their child may be gay. But hearing news that big, I'm sure a lot flashes through your mind. How long before you told Oliver?
Right away.
Okay. And what was that discussion like, Ollie?
Well, it was, Scott, so it was simply a matter of check your email. I'll never forget that. I sat down right there. I retrieved the email, and life changed at that moment reading it. From the parent's perspective, it was very tough to absorb at first. I mean, it's an initial shockwave. as we thought about it, or at least I thought about it, bits and pieces immediately came together for me. Just short of this, our family went through what I call a crisis, based on we had gotten word that Tristan was being bullied in school. This was in the middle school time frame. That alone, the word bully, from a parent's perspective, is hard to take in. The only reason I mention that is because it kind of relates to, now that I think back even today, some of the allegations that were made during this bullying. I mean, this led all the way up to law enforcement stepping in the school district where we formerly lived. And some of those things were mentioned in it. So it all kind of came together in my brain saying, okay, and I kind of built that timeline.
So
that
when you were dealing with the bullying, when the word gay came up, that you could just kind of go over that because you're really dealing with the violence
Yeah, it did come up. It was mentioned, the individual, a child. You know, I relate back to, it's not, I hate to say it, but it's not always the child. It's the upbringing of a child. They learn from who they're brought up by.
Of course.
It's just a fact of life. I stand by that.
So you had gone through the whole bullying thing,
Mhm.
and now here you're looking at something that clearly there's no longer an opportunity to deny that.
Absolutely not.
What was your gut feeling?
From my perspective, being prior, you know, wasn't used to it, never a thought came through, said, really, is this happening to us? And I said, us as a whole. And then I spoke with my wife, Dawn, and we talked. And I have to tell you, through this whole time, that initial shock wave, there was one thing that held me together.
What's that?
And that is two dear friends of ours. Lived right across the street, Connie and Shawnee, their partners. They basically guided me through this journey we took.
And I'm interested to see how that outside help impacted your family. We're coming up on a break, and when we come back, Dawn, I'd like for you to speak a little bit about what it was like to be able to reach out.
Hi, I'm David Macy, a board member of the Cimarron Alliance, and I'm asking for your help. We work every single day to make life better for gay Oklahomans, now and for generations to come. But we can't do it without you. Please consider making a gift of just $20 a month to the Cimarron Alliance and be a part of our march toward equality. Visit www.cimarronalliance.org today and make your pledge. It's a gift you can feel good about giving.
If you rely on the daily paper and local television news for information about your local, state, and federal government, then you are only getting half the story. The Oklahoma Observer goes beyond what other news sources provide. In fact, we offer news, analysis, and commentary that you can't find anywhere else. As quickly as things change at the state and federal levels, we all need to know how legislation affects our community and ourselves. But how can we make sense of what's happening at the state capitol and in Washington? The answer is the Oklahoma Observer. We make the information and the impact on you easy to understand. This way you can make truly informed decisions about your elected officials, community, and family. If you've never read the Oklahoma Observer or haven't read it in a while, I hope you'll take a look. You might be surprised just how much help we can be to you. Visit us today at okobserver.net. Our only agenda is to provide critical news for critical thinkers.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Inside Out. I'm Scott J. Hamilton, and we're visiting today with the Jaksons family. And Dawn, just before the break, Oliver was saying that your neighbors were very helpful. Now, did you personally feel like you needed support from the outside, or did you pretty quickly come to terms with what you just learned from Tristan?
I pretty quickly came to terms, like almost immediately after. It was like, okay, he's attracted to guys, whatever, no big deal. It really didn't affect me or change how I felt about him or it was just okay.
Now you have another child as well. You have a daughter, and is she older or younger?
Older.
And how did you bring her into this discussion?
Oh, I told her right after I told Ollie,
Okay.
and she was fine. She was like, yeah, that makes sense now kind of attitude, you know.
So you and your daughter are like, okay, next. What's next? Oliver, you're still kind of in this numb place.
I was, Scott, and I repeat, was. Today, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you now, honestly, the numb place was, from a parent's perspective, what challenges is my son going to face in life? That was all it was. It was the aspect of worrying security-wise, how is his life going to evolve, knowing the society that we sit on top of today, that there's acceptance on one side, and there definitely is not acceptance on the other side. So that's what my challenge was, and some of it still today is, because I'm not fully 100%, I'm 99.9%, but from a parent's perspective, from a father, I worry every second of the day. It's never going to go away. I don't want it to go away, because it's a sad society that I believe we live in, and it's, the security components of, I want him to be who he is. I believe he should, and everyone else should be who they are. This whole equality, it shouldn't matter whether race, religion, sex, or creed, or all of this. But there's that piece from the parent's perspective that I worry. And I don't just worry for the moment that my son walks out the door. I worry for my wife, my daughter, myself. It is a strange place and time that we live in, and especially throwing this challenge, which it should not be a challenge, but as you and I both would probably agree upon, that's my challenge. That's my uneasy knowing, okay, what if he walks into the wrong crowd, turns the wrong corner, or someone offensively destroys his property, or him personally injures him? That's my challenge, Scott.
Tristan, I think that's a very fair position for a parent to take.
It is.
You're in an unusual position, because not only are your parents supportive of you, they continue to love you, but now all of a sudden you can't go anywhere in the gay community without finding your parents. I mean, they're
true. They're always behind me.
They're
somewhere.
always behind you. I saw you all together at Pride. You're always this unit marching through.
We're glued together.
What's that like for you?
It's nice to know that they're there for me, but once in a while you kind of just need your space.
Do they go with you on dates?
No. That'd be drawing the line, but...
But it must be a good feeling to know that you have something that not a lot of gay kids have.
It's a really good feeling. And it's just sad that how some parents treat their children. It's like they're their children. They need to love them no matter what. So it's just being gay is just a part of you. It doesn't make up the whole thing. Like, it doesn't make up who you are. It's just a piece.
You say that, and I agree with you. But oftentimes we are identified by that piece. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what your father was speaking about a moment ago, that there are reasons to be concerned about where we go and how we present ourselves. And that's unfortunate, but it is a reality. Mm-hmm. So when you interact with other young people your age who are also lesbian or gay, what experiences do you share with them, or what do you learn from them about their own family situations?
Well, I have a lot of friends that are, and mostly their parents aren't accepting at all, and it's just, I just tell them that it'll get better, especially like if the situation's that bad. Once you move out and you can just continue on, things will get a lot better from there.
I think that's very, very sound advice, but I'm looking at your family, and from a parent's perspective, I think that's really sad that a child is hearing, wait until you get out of your parents' home, and then you can start to be happy. So clearly you're modeling something that's very, very different, and because of that, Tristan, you're able to take more of a leadership role with some of your own peers. I want to talk about longer term, beyond just the immediate, and what that means for you as a young gay man and what it means for you as parents. We'll be back right after this short break.
Hi, I'm Lorette Taylor, past chair of Cimarron Alliance. I joined the board because I believe in the vision and the work of this organization. We're working every day listening to the concerns of our community and helping to address those very concerns. I hope you will consider supporting Cimarron with a gift. Even $10 a month will help. Working together, we really can achieve equality for all gay Oklahomans. Please visit www.cimarronalliance.org and make your gift today.
If you rely on the daily paper and local television news for information about your local, state, and federal government, then you are only getting half the story. The Oklahoma Observer goes beyond what other news sources provide. In fact, we offer news, analysis, and commentary that you can't find anywhere else. As quickly as things change at the state and federal levels, we all need to know how legislation affects our community and ourselves. But how can we make sense of what's happening at the state capitol and in Washington? The answer is the Oklahoma Observer. We make the information and the impact on you easy to understand. This way you can make truly informed decisions about your elected officials, community, and family. If you've never read the Oklahoma Observer or haven't read it in a while, I hope you'll take a look. You might be surprised just how much help we can be to you. Visit us today at okobserver.net. Our only agenda is to provide critical news for critical thinkers.
Welcome once again to Oklahoma Inside Out. We're visiting with the Jaksons family. I think it's pretty remarkable when I look at Tristan and I see this young man who has such incredible support. Soon enough, he's going to be on his way to college or into his career, and he won't be the gay son living at home. And obviously your concerns will continue. But what does that mean for you in terms of your own advocacy work? Are you putting so much into it now that when he moves on, you're going to be like, wow, we can rest now? Or is this something that's going to be a part of your lives from now on?
You can answer, and then I'll...
You mentioned earlier how when you see us out, as we're always out as a family, and it's because we want to make a point to everybody out there and all the parents and all the people who aren't behind their friends and family and children, that we, I think, really make a point of making sure that we're there with him at all these events and out there in the world, showing that you need to be behind your children, you need to be behind your friends, you need to be behind your family. I don't understand how
you can love a child
right.
one day and then stop that love just because you learn of sexual orientation.
And I know from me anyway, my advocacy won't stop when Tristan moves out. It absolutely will not. I'll continue to be involved with Cimarron. I'll continue to be involved with PFLAG. I'll continue to be involved with Pride. I'll do whatever I can to be out there telling the world that we need to do this. We need to be behind in love and care, and we're all equal, and
just there's a real need.
And I wanted to add to that, because you'd mentioned that, he's going to pursue off to college, hoping he pursues college right down the road, cheaper out of my pocketbook, of course, right? Live at home still till you're in school. But, today I feel myself in a better place that I can say no. I have met some, and still am, of the best people, whether gay or straight. But in this case, I refer to the people I met in Cimarron Alliance, the people during OKC Pride, through PFLAG. I wouldn't trade them in for the world right now. And the reason I say that is we are all human beings, period. Again, doesn't matter of sexual orientation, race, religion. It's the strange world out there that paints a different picture. And so, once Tristan moves on, I don't envision he may stay here in the state. Temporarily, I envision staying in the state. But no, Dawn's right. We need to continue doing things and saying, during the best time I had was OKC Pride. I met wonderful people. And something that was interesting, before that led up the little meetings, Dawn and I volunteered through the whole week, had great times, met many great people. But what hurt was people looked at Dawn and I as wait a minute, we don't understand. What are you doing here? And that's what it came forward in the pre-meetings and so forth. And I totally accept that. I ran around with the button said, ally, okay? And they go, really? It's hard to envision, and I noticed a lot of people at first, the comfort level from themselves was, is this a reality check? And I can't blame them for that.
I can't either, but I do think that it points to something that we have to address in our community, and that is we can't expect to be embraced if we are not embracing.
Right.
There is justification for the wariness, because too many of us have been in situations where we thought we were surrounded by friends, and that wasn't the case.
That's correct. And the one thing that I learned right there, and that's why I think, yes, one must continue to send that message across, because it was really hurtful to see individuals, and I say individuals, people, human beings, that look dead at me and says, wow, you support your son? I wish my parents did that. And that hit me hard.
And that's motivation for you to continue this
absolutely
work. It would have to be.
So that, yes, absolutely, one must continue to send the message. Whether people like it or not, I know what the right answer is at the end of the day. So,
Tristan, anything you'd like to say to your mom and dad?
I love you guys. Pretty much sums it all up.
Clearly that love goes both ways, and to see you as a family, to see the love that you share, is an inspiration, and it's a model for others, perhaps especially for those young people who don't have love and support at home, to know that it is possible to be embraced, to be loved in a way that you are. And I'm glad that you're sharing that with your friends. We're almost out of time. I can't believe how much time has gone by so quickly. I want to remind everyone that PFLAG Oklahoma City meets the second Tuesday of every month at Church of the Open Arms, 31st and North Penn in Oklahoma City, and everyone is invited, gay folks, straight folks, friends and family of gay people. But on behalf of all of us, I want to thank the three of you for being brave, for being here today, and for sharing your love. Thank you so much, Dawn, Oliver, and Tristan Jaksons. It's been great having you all on the show, and I'm appreciative of all of our listeners who took time out of their day to be with us as well. I hope that perhaps you too find courage from this family so that you can share love to someone who particularly needs it today. I want to thank our producer, Chris Moyer, associate producer, Guy Peters, Cimarron Alliance board co-chairs are Catherine Primus and Randall Marsh. Our announcer is Lisa Pizzieri. We do want to hear from you, and you can always email us at oklahomainsideout@cimarronalliance.org. We'll be back next week with our 101st episode of this broadcast. Until then, I'm Scott J. Hamilton, thanking you for joining us, and until next time, hang on to the vision of a fair and just Oklahoma.
Oklahoma Inside Out is a production of Cimarron Alliance, Central Oklahoma's preeminent LGBT advocacy and education organization. If you have a topic you would like to hear discussed, or a person who you would like to hear interviewed, please call 405-495-9300 or email oklahomainsideout@cimarronalliance.org. Please feel free to share the link to this broadcast with your friends.